If I could describe the Get My Life tour in one word, it would be vulnerability. Showing up for yourself is so important. Welcome to the Get My Life tour. I'm your host, Lydia T. Blanco. Hey y'all, and welcome to the Get My Life tour. It is me, your host, Lydia T. Blanco, and like always, I am so excited that you decided to show up for yourself. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the Get My Life tour. It is great to have you here, center stage. If you are tuning in and have been an avid listener and have been on tour with me for quite some time, thank you for your commitment. It is a pleasure to have you back. Look, you probably have picked up on my somewhat somber tone. And yes, it is because of the moment that we are living in, but the reoccurrence of brutality, of murder, of oppression that Black people live in here in this nation. I am a storyteller. I'm a journalist. I'm a poet. I am an advocate for Black lives. I'm someone who uses my voice to help others amplify theirs. And for some of you all, this episode, the stop on the tour, is at no surprise, right? You're not surprised by me starting off this conversation this way. For others, welcome. You know, I really want to let you all know that we are not living in unprecedented times, but it is important for me to use this platform this way. You know, I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity to have your attention, to have an international audience, and to be able to have voice, right? I don't take any of this lightly. But I think it would be irresponsible if I didn't say anything about civil unrest, you know, the injustices that Black people are living in and facing over and over and over again, right? Throughout the diaspora, but right now, just speaking about the United States and the moment that we're living in. And while there are, you know, national protests going on, quite frankly, international protests that are going on in support of Black lives and defunding the police officers and ending brutality and seeing Black people as human, I think that it is equally as important for us to remember to find moments of joy. Resting is doing something. Taking the time to reset is important. We have been fighting as Black people in this country since we got here, okay? And it is difficult to continue the fight when we do not take moments to enjoy our existence and to reset, right? When you are oppressed, every day is like living a protest. And it is hard to find joy, but there are moments out there, and I really want to offer that to people to find joy. There is this narrative going around right now, especially on social media, that joy is a form of resistance. And I agree with that. You know, those who oppress others do not want to see them experience joy. We are not only fighting for our lives, right? We're fighting to be seen as human. And in that, we have to remember that we are living, we are breathing, we are beings, right? And this fight is so much deeper than flesh. Is us being brutalized and killed by officers wrong? Of course. Yes. Should we be upset? Yes. Are we upset? Are we hurt? Are we tired? Are we exhausted? Yes. And that is all the more reason that we need to take the time to rest, and we need to take the time to find joy. I've been out at protests. I was sitting by the water, and this celebration turned into a moment of remembrance and prayer and protest. Our existence as Black people is a protest. But we also got back to that moment of joy. Sometimes we have to find the time to celebrate. And there will be people who tune in who don't agree and will say, yes, but the fight must go on. The fight must go on. But it is important for us to fight, pray, reset, re-energize, and live our lives. It is a blessing to wake up every day and be able to fight, right? A lot of our brothers and sisters have not had the opportunity to either go to sleep or wake up the next day because they've had their lives stolen. And I think it is important for us to remember that we are here. And there are different ways that we can show up and say that we are here, whether we choose to be on the front lines or we choose to support from elsewhere. Strategy is so important. And I think we have to have a strategy for our joy, right? So that it is unconditional, meaning that, yes, during these times of unrest and oppression, that we find joy. I've always found it so fascinating that when we look through these archives of photos of Black people, there is often some inkling of joy or hope on the faces of our people, especially during these moments of just unjust times. I challenge you to go look for photos or look through photos, of our people and look for that inkling of joy. It's there. It exists. I love following, Tamika Mallory, who is a true champion for change, Angela Rye, and so many others who are at the helm, at the forefront, right? People are part of the Black Lives Matter movement, the movement for Black Lives, Color of Change, so on and so forth. But they will tell you that it is important to rest. I had the opportunity to interview Alicia Garza, and we spoke about leadership. We spoke about those who are working with her at the Black Futures Lab, taking Fridays off. We spoke about the importance of resting during this pandemic, resting during the fight for Black lives, resting. That was the premise of our conversation, because we are always on as a people. We're on when we clock in. We're on when we're on our phones. We're on strategizing for ways to win. We are unable, oftentimes, to turn our brains off, right? And it's hard to find joy. It's hard to rest when your spirit is uneasy. Which leads me to my next point. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, as I like to believe. And while the heads of our brothers and sisters have been bloody yet unbowed, it is important for us to take care of our souls, our spirits, and be mindful of how it is that we are protesting, right? It's hard to remain unshaken, but it is important for us to take care of home, right? Take care of our temples, our bodies, our spirits. Maybe that looks like going for a walk, taking some deep breaths, burning a candle, saying a prayer, meditating, being still, being quiet, turning off your cell phone, not scrolling as long as you normally do, not watching a video of brutality, and not feeling guilty about not watching the murders on repeat. It is important to know what is happening in our community, but it's also important to take care of yourself, right? And I say these things And I believe that they are easier said than done, but it's important to say. I understand, the plight of being Black in America. Someone once said that it's like we have 2 strikes against us before we even swing. I agree with that. Not only is it a great saying and metaphor, but it is often what we are up against, right? Loaded bases. And while that is true, that means that we have to go hard, and we always do. But as we go hard, it is important to take care of ourselves. You need you. And that means you need to rest. That means you need to be still and, quite frankly, tune out the noise of the world every once in a while so that you can hear your own thoughts and so that you can be at peace and in alignment. And I know that is very difficult, right? We're still sheltered in place. We are still working remotely. A lot of us have a lot going on, and there is nothing natural about social distancing, especially now at a time where we want to be closer to one another, right? But you have to make sure that you take care of yourself. You know what is also pressing on my heart to share? It is find a way to protest that means something to you. Everybody cannot be outside, okay? That is just the honest to God truth. And some people aren't as effective when they are outside. We've seen a lot of people infiltrate this movement, and we've seen a lot of people show up who just do not know what to do. And that's because everybody is not supposed to be outside. And I say that because it's true. I also say that because it is important to know how you can serve during this moment. Now, I am not giving out any recommendations. I am not the leader of any movement other than to give my life tour and sincere visions in my life. But I say that to say some people honestly feel guilty because they are not holding a sign, because they are not outside, they haven't lost their voice, and they feel like they've lost some kind of sense of agency. I offer this to you. Extend mercy and grace to yourself. Maybe you are better off helping someone else organize or promoting the efforts of others, communicating ways to be organized, or just finding a place, right? Maybe you're handing out water, or you're calling in to get the attention of a governor, or you're finding ways to share information that is accurate and in a timely manner. I really just felt like it was important to say that because so many people are like, I'm just not doing enough. I don't know what to do. Follow some of these women who are leading on social media. Angela Rye, Tamika Mallory, and the men too, right? I will say this. Please be sure to follow Black journalists during this time. A lot of people are turning to CNN. Who else is... we're not going to say the F word. But a lot of, your local and national TV broadcasters for information. I will say that it is important, and I keep on saying what is important, but it is key to follow Black journalists during this time so that you are tuned into what is essential for our community to know. It's hard for people to report from a helicopter, but there are people who are on the ground who are reliable reporters, and it is important to get tuned in with them. I'm not going to name drop. I will say just do your own research, and I know that's kind of not helpful, but I don't want to come off as biased by name dropping people. I know I've shared the name of, 2 exceptional women, but it is important to stay abreast and support your Black journalists. Support journalists who are committed to telling stories who look like you, because there are so many people who want to come into our neighborhoods and report, be on the front lines or on the sidelines, better yet, never speak to us. And those are typically the people who get their mic snatched. But it is important to know who it is that you can trust during these moments. The last things that I'd like to offer is to stay politically engaged. There are so many distractions going on. I know COVID-19 is a real thing. I'm no conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but there are so many distractions. There are people who are standing in lines for hours to vote. It is critical to your well-being, to your community, for you to remain politically engaged during this time. We are in primaries. We have so many important election dates coming up, and it is key for you to vote. If you do not vote, you are not counted. If you are not counted, you are not heard. And if you are heard, you do not matter. Okay? You have to vote. It blows my mind when people complain, but they do not show up to the ballot. Now, I understand that some people can't make it and blah, 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 blah. But I do not understand when people say they can't make it and then they complain. If you are not dying, you need to be voting. Unless you have lost your right to vote, you need to get out there and vote. And if you say you don't care, you truly do not care about humanity and what is going on in the world right now. We need to be heard. We have so much power. Politically, we have so much power. We shape culture. The world looks to us as much as they act like we do not exist. We need you to vote, okay? I say we because the world. We need you to vote, okay? America needs you to vote. Vote. Please vote. Complete the census. Every time someone is not counted, $1,000 is missed for your community. Get out there and vote and be counted. Be heard, okay? Now here it is that I'm pleading with you now. I sound like a little politician, but it is what it is. You need to vote. Stay politically engaged. Do not allow your anger, your resentment, your fear, your exhaustion, and whatever else be the reason why we end up with another 4 years of stupidity, of just complete ignorance, okay? Each and every one of us has the power to make a difference. Make a difference? Go vote. You know, the last thing that I want to offer is that we need to keep the momentum as we champion for Black businesses. There's so much money being poured into our communities, and there is this enthusiasm for Black business that we see a wave of time and time again. One of the ways that we vote is with our dollars. And while it is key to support Black businesses 365, I just think that it is key. It is imperative to say that we have to keep this momentum going. You know, there is a good chance that if justice is served, that we will go back to business as usual. And we cannot. We cannot allow our Black businesses to struggle. 64% of Black businesses are run or owned and operated by solopreneurs, meaning that they are running a business by themselves. That is tough. Entrepreneurship is tough. Running a business is tough. And we need one another. You know, I really hope that this moment pushes people to come out of the solopreneur mindset and partner with those who are doing similar things as them and build a collective so that we can win. But I did think that it was worth mentioning that we have to keep this momentum going. We must build. We must find ways to come together to create lasting wealth. We are in the 99th year after Tulsa, right? But I believe that we can do it again. I said all of this to say that I believe that we will win. I've been saying that quite often lately, but it is truly something that I believe because I'm hopeful. I'm also exhausted, but there is just this fire in me that will not simmer down. Like it just can't be put out because it is truly ignited by hope. I said that these times are not unprecedented because we've seen them time and time again. History is repeating itself, but I think that it is time for us to respond differently with every atom of our existence as Black people. I don't even know what my mic drop moment is. And I've been thinking about it as I've been speaking. I tried to write it down. I just was not sure. But I really think that it is the only way is up. The only way is up. I don't know where else we can go but up. I'm thinking about so many things right now. I'm thinking about the cross. I'm thinking about just the cosmos and just the universe right now. The only way is up. And some people may say, oh, is that an uprising? Is this? Is this that? I don't know. I just really think that the only way is up. So that is my mic drop moment. And I'm not going to prolong this Stop of the Get My Life tour. I truly hope that you receive something, whether you are here in the U.S. or you are tuning in abroad. I am not going to claim to have said anything revelatory, and I believe a lot of this information is out there, but there is no way that I wouldn't use this platform to say the things that are truly on my heart during this time. I'm going to look for someone to come and share what the next steps are for our people, and I hope that you tune in. I hope that you continue to listen with your heart and show up for yourself as we are here on tour, and stay connected. Let me know what you think. Be sure to follow the Get My Life Tour at the Get My Life Tour on Instagram, on Facebook, and at Get My Life Tour on Twitter. If you'd like to stay connected with me, be sure to follow me at Lydia T Blanco on all social platforms. Visit thegetmylifetour.com. So sign up for the newsletter, join the Facebook group, the Get My Life Tour Backstage, and let's stay connected. Let's continue to build. Let me know what you think. Download, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next Stop of the Get My Life Tour. It is going to be great. Father's Day is around the corner, and the day after, there's going to be a phenomenal young woman who is going to share about her journey and the strength of her father and his legacy. Until then, it has been real. Stay encouraged, and remember, the only way is up. Until the next time, it has been real. Peace.